This man, absolutely, in my book, right now, is the MVP. This guy has done everything. Look at what the Eagles are right now. And last year, as good as they were up and down season offensively, they had A.J. Brown breaking and breaking Eagle records as a wide receiver. Devontae Smith catching the ball in so many different positions. You put him in the slot, you put him on the outside. Devontae Smith was unbelievable. But this man changes everything offensively for this Eagles offense. And an offensive line that lost Jason Kelce in the offseason to retirement. Everybody thought that this line was not going to be as good without Jason Kelce. Well, guess what? It doesn't really matter because Saquon Barkley hides the deficiencies of this offensive line. And there's not many deficiencies, I will say that. But he finds so many lanes, and it's unbelievable. It's like Swiss cheese when he steps on the field. When he finds a hole, he just runs through it. There is nothing to say bad about this man. There's nothing. This guy can do everything. And look at Jalen Hurts, the smiles, the smirks, every time he was breaking a tackle. And that guy ran what? He ran a 70-yard touchdown and a 74-yard touchdown yesterday. I mean, the guy is just not human. He's a machine, okay? It is so fun to watch. There's nothing bad to say about this guy. Even when he was a Giant, I rooted for him. He grew up a Jet fan. I mean, his father's a diehard Jet fan. I love him. I remember when he went into the draft, and I interviewed him and his father has a Jets tattoo on his forearm. The guy stands for something. And New York football was what he stood for. He wanted to stay there with the Giants. He wanted to be a Giant for life. He told Joe Shane, I told you I want to be a Giant for life. And you know what Joe Shane said? Go work the field, and we'll see if you come back, and we'll see if we can match it. You were never going to match it, you idiot. You were never going to match anything with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles had a game plan, and they knew Saquon was going to be free and ready to rise over there and fly with the Eagles. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Damian Woody, I don't care what any one of these, Stephen A. Smith, any one of these guys, it's not blind to see what's going on right now. There's nothing blind. Everybody was saying that the Commanders were the best team in the NFC East. Well, take that back, ladies and gentlemen, because there's nothing in the NFC as good as this man. There's nothing. I don't care how good Jaden Daniels has looked this year. That man is unbelievable. There is nothing that could touch that man after what he did yesterday.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly. I'm not singing this song because I'm just not going to do that because I know all the Giant fans want to probably, shoot me or stab me or whatever the hell they want to do to me. But guess what, Giant fans? There's only one thing I could say about this absolute debacle, and this is one thing. Fire Joe Shane. Fire him, sell him, do whatever you want. That man should not be here. If he comes back next year, if John Mara comes out and says that Brian Daboll is safe and Joe Shane is safe, it only safe. That's perfect. If they're safe and they keep their jobs for next year, by golly, this team is going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. This is a horrible, horrible thing to watch. Giant fans should not come out there and say that we're better off without Saquon Barkley. To lose a man as good, as talented as this guy is just absolutely sad. This is a once in a lifetime type of player. Once in a lifetime type of player.
Generational for sure.
Not even close. The Giants had never had a running back this good. Ever. You can go back. I mean, who would you try to compare to this man? The only person I can compare to this guy right now, when healthy, is Barry Sanders.
Adrian Peterson.
Honestly, and I'm not taking away what Adrian Peterson has done.
But I don't think he was as good from the backfield as Saquon is.
No. When you watch Barry Sanders, just watch. If we put a video of Barry Sanders and Saquon Barkley together, they're practically both the same size. I think Saquon's a little bit taller, but these guys, oh, no, they're both this. I mean, if you look at Barry, his legs and Saquon, they're both like tree trunks. And what Barry was good at is he was so athletic and he could stop on a dime and just move inside and out and catch the ball in the backfield and beat teams on the outside as well as on the inside. Power back, speed on the outside. I mean, the guy could do everything. That's Saquon Barkley. There is nobody. If there's anybody to compare to Barry Sanders, it's Saquon Barkley. He's the closest thing to Barry Sanders. And that's the biggest compliment you can give to somebody, because Barry Sanders is the greatest running back of all time. And I don't want to hear about Brown. I don't want to hear about Walter Payton. They were great. They were great running backs. Barry Sanders, in the 10 years he dominated with that terrible offensive line, there was nobody.
It wasn't even 10 years, though.
It was 10 years.
It was 10 years.
10
he retired early.
10 years.
Because he was so mad at the Lions organization. He retired
exactly
at 31 years old.
It was right at 10?
Yeah, it was right at 10.
10 years. He played 10 years, and then he sent, if you guys check out the 30 for 30, he sent a fax to the Lions that he retired. That's what he did.
That says everything you need to know about the Lions for the first 50 years of their existence.
And send a fax, right?
He sent a fax. And Lion fans took that to heart, and for years they didn't respect what Barry Sanders did, because he was too afraid to stand in the limelight and tell the fans that he was done. And that's what Barry Sanders stood for. And Saquon wanted to ride and die with the New York Giants. He really did. And the Giants are a despicable organization. John Mara, I don't know if anybody, and you could go back to Hard Knocks. Look at John Mara's face when he found out Philadelphia signed Saquon Barkley. You saw him walk out of the office of Joe Schoen, and he walked down the hall and shook his head. He couldn't believe it.
Should have fired him that day. He should have fired him that day. It's such an irresponsible decision. Looking back at it now, it's just depressing on all sorts of levels that you have this kind of faith in a guy who hasn't shown you anything, and you just want to feel that way because he's a good family man, and to all accounts he's a nice guy. But nice isn't going to win you a championship. He doesn't. The only guy he traded with was his family friend Dan Morgan, and got Brian Burns, who's been underwhelming at times because he's playing through injuries. But look, at least he's toughing it out. But
Nice doesn't.
He's playing through a bad foot injury, but he's just toughing it out because real players like him, although they overpaid for him, they're going to play through anything. And I'm glad we have that guy. But he only got that guy because he had a family friend that he can call. There's 28 other GMs that he doesn't know that well, and it's not looking good, man. I really don't trust him picking the next quarterback either. And do you really even trust any of the quarterbacks in this draft, or what that relationship between Joe Schoen and the family of Shedeur Sanders could potentially be?
Please.
Can you even imagine how that would work?
Owen, who he's making a prediction that's where the Giants go. If the Giants pick Shedeur Sanders, that will set that organization back 10 years. It's Saquon and nobody else. I'm telling you right now, if the season were to end, it goes to Saquon Barkley. I'm telling you
I wouldn't go that far. It's not between anybody. Like, Derrick Henry has to be in the question.
Well, I'm not.
I just say the two Ravens will probably cancel out.
The last 2 weeks, Derrick Henry has not been good. Okay, and teams are starting to figure that out. And if he doesn't put up big numbers tonight, I mean, automatically you put him. He starts to trail right behind, at least 2 or 3 lengths behind Saquon Barkley. I mean, Saquon the last 2 weeks, I mean, he's been unbelievable. I mean, this guy is putting up 2 touchdowns a week, and it's not even close. He's untouchable when he's on the football field. When this guy breaks, good luck trying to catch him. I mean, this guy tore his ACL. I mean, this guy's still running all over people. I mean, it's unbelievable. Remember when Odell Beckham tore his ACL and everybody, he was never the same. This guy tears his ACL. He comes back. He's running all over people. It's unbelievable.
And he's better than he was before.
Way better.
You would say it.
I don't know if he's better. I don't think it even matters. I think he's playing.
He's got
a Hall of Fame right tackle in Lane Johnson playing in front of him. That helps.
Who's not even 100% healthy.
But
I have him on my fantasy team.
He's still the best right tackle in football. And it helps.
Tristan Wirfs might have an argument for that now.
Yeah.
Well, he's not healthy either, so let's face it. Like, he's got a much better offensive line than he had in New York every single year he was there. I mean, he was still getting close to and putting up over 1,000 yards while getting hit in the backfield a split second after he received the ball from the quarterback. Over and over and over again, he was able to do that. And Joe Schoen thought, oh, you know what? he's just got 1,000 yards. You know, we can get 1,000 yards from anybody. You know, we'll just get a couple of guards. We'll pay $5 million to Drew Lock and not use him. We'll pay 5 or was it 6 million for Singletary for him to be the backup to our 5th round pick. Wait, that's $11 million. You couldn't have given that to Saquon Barkley? Are you kidding me? You just lit that money on fire with Drew Lock and Devin Singletary. Let's face it. You could have gotten a backup running back for league minimum or close to it.
If Saquon Barkley, if he was playing for the Giants right now, the Giants would have a playoff spot. The Giants right now, I don't care what any Giant fan says, Daniel Jones would still have a job right now. Daniel Jones, who got $40 million, he would have a job right now. Neighbors would be very, very happy because Saquon Barkley would be trailing double teams and opening up the field for Neighbors. I mean, even Darius Slayton will have better numbers. Yes, I could stand, and I can't stand Darius Slayton, but he would have better numbers right now if Saquon Barkley was on the field. It is embarrassing that any Giant fan thought that they could do better without Saquon Barkley.
I hope
ridiculous.
Slayton goes to the Jets next year just so you have to deal
It's not
with
going to happen.
crap.
It's not going to happen.
Give me a big exodus over there.
It's not going to happen.
Howie T is going to be picking the next guy, man. We'll talk about that later tonight.
Oh, please. I'm telling you right now, and for all the Giant fans sitting here today, making up excuses for this team and this organization moving forward, there's no excuse anymore. There is nothing. They need to start over just like the New York Jets. Find a new GM, find a new coach. I feel, and I would love to see Daniel Jones go somewhere, goes to Minnesota, and you see Sam Darnold. I don't want to see Sam Darnold go down, but he gets hurt. And then you see Daniel Jones go out there and put up these ridiculous numbers because he has weapons around him and takes the Minnesota, yes, the Vikings, who he knocked out the last time they were in the playoffs, knock out whoever they're playing, maybe the Eagles. Who knows? Could you imagine Daniel Jones with the Minnesota Vikings versus Saquon Barkley in the playoffs? That would be fun to watch. Could you imagine that?
His 5-year redemption story after tripping on the goal line.
It would be funny. And that's it. It says a lot about the New York Giants and their organization and the way they're moving. John Mara, Steve Tisch, all of them, they need to figure out where this team and this organization, because at one point, I remember 10 years ago, and Jabba, you know this more than anybody, that the Giants organization was looked at one of the top 3 run organizations in all of football. It was the Rooneys, it was the Maras and the Tisches, and who was the other team? San Francisco. Those were the 3 teams that everybody said, oh, great run organizations. They know what they're doing. Well, guess what? If we go back and we look at that, we make these excuses, guess where that organization is right now? They're in the bottom feed of the NFL right now, especially the owner who made a big mistake with Brown, if we remember a couple of years ago. That made the organization look really weak and dumb. And then everything after that over the years, bringing in Waller. What the hell would you bring in Waller for? That was a terrible move. And by the way, that was another Joe Shane move. And by the way, I am going to mention for all you WFAN fans out there who listens to WFAN, and he knows who, and I know he's not listening to the show because he's a complete moron. But I'm going to tell you, I called his show, him actually telling me that he would rather, at the time, Daniel Jones over Aaron Rodgers. At the time, that was ridiculous. And then say that Saquon Barkley, he would rather Darren Waller over Saquon Barkley. Would you imagine that? Who would say that? Darren Waller over Saquon Barkley.
So speaking of WFAN, I did sneak in your Tiki Barber graphic from like months ago on our thumbnail for tonight.
Oh, by the way, Tiki's now kissing Saquon Barkley's ass. Now, we hate you. We hate you. And then now when he has Saquon or sees Saquon, he kisses his ass. Tiki, stop. Stop it. I know, Jabba, you're friends with Tiki. I could care less. Tiki's an idiot. Tiki should have never said that. It made the organization look really, really bad.
When he brought that up and he was like, well, when I saw him, he was actually really nice to me. What does he have to prove to you, dog? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, he's a consummate professional. Like, he's not going to be an ass to you because he goes out and proves it. And you can say whatever you want to say because you're trying to get clickbait. You're trying to get all the other stuff and people to watch your show and all the other things. But at the end of the day, what? You really think he's going to be mean to you and say, I told you so or whatever? No, because you don't have to. Just go be you. That's exactly what he's done, and that's why he can't say a dang thing.